Hey everyone, Fire here. Today I'm going to expose the biggest scam in POE at the moment. Early today, I got done farming a whole bunch of Scaring Delirium mobs, and I had a Scarab tab full of Scarabs. You can see it on the screen over here. I have over 200 of pretty much every type of Rusted Scarab, 100 of every Polished, and around 40 of every Gilded. Now, TFT told me that this was going to be worth 36 divines at 85% of the POE Ninja price, and this was kind of a problem for me because I was pretty sure this tab was worth a lot more. So rather than just selling it, I decided to plot out exactly how much of each type of Scarab I had, and I then went to the trade site and individually went through and tried to message people to bulk buy each type of Scarab one at a time until I got a reply. And then the person that did eventually try to sell me their item, I unfortunately declined. I apologize. I said I've already got some, and I wrote down how much they were selling their item at, and those are the prices that you can see on the screen here. So for example, I went down the list until someone sold me Bestiary Scarabs in bulk, and that was at 2C each. Gilded Bestiary was at 7C each, so on and so forth. And overall, this Scarab tab ended up being worth a lot more than 36 divines. In fact, had I bulk sold these Scarabs to the same price that people were willing to sell the Scarabs to me at, I would have made, instead of 36 divines, 76 divines. So long story short, at the bulk I'm selling, trying to bulk sell these on TFT costs basically a fee of 40 divines. I'm actually paying more to liquidate these than what I'm making back. The bulker's cut is now over 50%, and this is a problem. I did this exact same experiment roughly a year ago, and I came out at around a figure of the bulker's cut being around 28%. And this was about right, because typically throughout the history of PoE, when you hire a liquidator, you're usually paying them a 25 to 30% fee. That's what I've used in the past when I've done my Mage Blood grinds. 30% fee is about right. So people making a 28% cut off of your hard work was correct in the past. Now they're making close to 53%, right? You do all the hard work, and then they make most of the money. Now, this problem has actually always existed. It's merely only gotten worse, right? In the past, the whole reason why bulk selling has been a thing and why channels exist for it on TFT is because POE Ninja is evaluating Scarabs, Essences, etc. based off their singles price. And these people are buying these items off you and then selling them at a bulk price, and their markup is their margin of profit effectively. The problem is that lately the singles price is being price fixed to be extra low, and it's being price fixed consistently round the clock across the board on pretty much every single item. To make matters worse, we've hit critical mass of basically everyone who can bulk farm Scarabs and Essences is just now bulk selling on TFT. So if you go to bulk buy Essences or Scarabs, the only people left to sell them to you are the people who are buying them off you in the first place on TFT. These are the bulk sellers. They effectively have a monopoly now because no one else is competing with them on price, so they get to just pick whatever damn price they want. There are so few Scarabs being sold at the moment that they can just pick ridiculous prices and you are forced to pay them, otherwise you can't interact with the content. Now, this problem is only further compounded once you take into account the value of your time. The value of your time is not fixed. It fluctuates league to league, and this league it's especially low. The reason this is important to talk about is because liquidating pretty much always takes the same amount of time if you're doing it manually. There are only a certain amount of Scarabs that you can price check, and this just takes the same amount of time league to league. And just to put things into perspective for you, so last league, I had a City Square Gilded Expedition farm, and I was making approximately 2,900 chaos per hour. And this is just a spreadsheet that shows what that looks like. Some of you probably remember this from last league. I was making 2,900 chaos per hour from this, and back then, 27 days into the league, a Mage Blood cost 32,000 Chaos Orbs. So this meant that basically doing this farm, I could earn one Mage Blood every 11 hours. Now, obviously, I'm not going to farm 11 hours straight. I'm taking breaks. There's human error that has to be incorporated into it. Obviously, I'm not a machine. I'm sometimes going to slow down or read things, etc. Okay, you get the point. However, Grand Design Gilded Expedition farming this league, so like my new best strategy, and a strategy that I would consider one of the best in the game that can be recommended to a wide variety of people right now, that's only netting around 1,400 chaos per hour. Now, the characters are pretty much at the same speed as they were league to league. It's about half as much chaos per hour, and this is kind of a big problem considering that Mage Bloods cost 54,000 chaos now. So, in other words, doing the best farming strat that I have available to me at the moment versus last league, it's now taking me close to 39 hours instead of 11 hours. This is over 3 times as long. And the reason this is all important is because last league, if I wanted to spend 4 hours liquidating, not even taking into account anything else, right, I was essentially giving up 1.8 apothecaries worth of farming time. I could farm 1.8 apothecaries worth of excellence or POE ninja value in 4 hours worth of liquidating, and that's why it was worth it to just pay the cut that TFT bulk sellers and bulk buyers were asking for, because it was a worthwhile transaction. But now I'm only earning 0.5 apothecaries in 4 hours. This is a lot less. My time isn't as valuable anymore, and so when I'm facing the prospect of losing 40 divines because I don't want to take a bit of time to price up my scarabs and sell them individually, obviously, something's got to change. The way we're doing things is not really right. We are making record low profits per hour this league compared to pretty much every other league that I've played in the last few years. And one way in which we can derive more profit per hour from our farming strategies is simply to go back to selling our own things, basically, not relying on the TFT bulk sellers. So to summarize for you guys who just want to skim through the video, basically TFT bulk buyers are taking a 50% or higher cut now from most of the things that you're liquidating in bulk to them, and liquidating manually has a lower opportunity cost since your time is worth a lot less, and the time that it takes to liquidate is fixed every league no matter what. So in leagues where your time is worth less, liquidating manually is a far more valuable process to go through. The only times you should really be thinking about using TFT and bulk selling to save time is when your time is worth a lot more, which it's not at the moment, and we're paying a record cut. TFT bulk sellers needed to bring their cut down this league in order for their services to be worth it for us to use. Instead, they went up. They just got really greedy this league, and something has had to give, right? It's been heading in the wrong direction now for the last few leagues. They are really just taking advantage of the fact that no one questions the services they're providing, and it's now gotten to the point where I'm saying it's just absolutely not worth using anymore. Now, maybe a better approach to this is to manually sell the most valuable items out of your Scarab or your Essence tab and stuff like that, and then after you've done that, and you can't move the rest of your product, you have a lot of low value scarabs, essences, stuff like torment scarabs, etc. Maybe that's the stuff you bulk buy, you bulk sell to the TFT guys. You're going to be able to, maybe that's a worthwhile trade at that point. But when you're trying to get rid of your Gilded Reliquary, Divination, and Expedition scarabs, or your Deafening Essences of Loathing, for example, you're just losing massive amounts of money by trying to sell it to the TFT guys rather than just. And the reality is, these high-value scarabs and essences, they are also very high in demand. So as soon as you set a price to them, you're going to sell them very, very quickly anyway. Now let's talk solutions, because there are two really easy solutions to this problem in particular. The first is become a TFT bulk buyer yourself. Now, these guys are making truly insane amounts of money. I was about to hand some guy 40 divines worth of profit, and all he had to do was spend 5 to 10 minutes trading me. That is absolutely insane. A lot of these guys are RMTs as well, and they're just selling the currency they make to RMT websites and making real money from it. So you may as well get in on it. As long as there are still people that aren't watching this video and are willing to keep using these services, take advantage of it, right? There's no reason not to. The other solution is to start manually selling your stuff to break their virtual monopoly over the POE exchange, right? So when someone goes to the POE exchange, it's all bulk sellers for the most part. If I want to buy, this morning when I went to buy a bunch of polished Harbinger scarabs, for example, it was all bulk sellers, all people with really high bulk. So what you need to do is just start selling it yourself. Not only will you make a lot more money by doing this, but it's also going to now have to, they're going to have to compete with you, and there's going to be a higher supply readily available to the player base. And so they're going to have to bring their own prices down, and slowly, I guess, we'll reach equilibrium again, right? A lot of people aren't really aware that this is an option, so that's why it's not getting done. But yeah, these two ways are the solution to this problem. We just need to adjust. Our time isn't worth what it once was. And if you think about it, a lot of people are looking at the skittering Deliorb farms that are being advocated by content creators at the moment and saying, well, it's a lot of effort for 7 divines per hour. But if you look at it this way, it's kind of closer to 12 divines per hour if you're just willing to set your own price to scarabs. And it doesn't take very long. So I actually, I had to look up the prices of all these scarabs in order to make this video and stuff like that so I could get my own evaluation. And it took 10 minutes to price up all the scarabs. I'm sure that in order to pawn off all of the most valuable scarabs, it may have taken another 20, 30 minutes. Not a very significant amount of time when I consider I'm making 40 divines in that short period of time that I'm doing the trading, right? That's the way I look at it, that I need to make, I need to basically make 40 divines from selling all those scarabs faster than if I had tried to refarm those scarabs all over again. Refarming those scarabs all over again would have taken like a whole day, and it would have only made me 36 divines, versus just taking, you know, less than an hour to sell off the scarabs myself. I make 40 divines. It's like, it's crazy when you really think of it like that. There's no way bulk selling on TFT is worth it at all. If you think, just don't do it. I'm not going to entertain it anymore. Use your brains. Here's the thought experiment for you guys. My parting thoughts, I guess. Would you rather take 6 hours to farm up deli orbs so that you can generate that scarab tab that I showed you for yourself and make 36 divines profit? Or would you instead rather buy those scarabs from another player and then take around 1 hour to sell them off yourself and make 40 divines profit instead of 36? If you like this video, give me a like, comment, or subscribe. Or more importantly, just share it with a friend so we can raise awareness of this issue.